Travis Head comes in at number 5, left-hander. He's had an excellent couple of years in Test match cricket. Just a word with Ollie Robinson as he walked past him. Wonder if England will go short at him as they did at Edgbaston, or because it's moving around, just challenge the outside edge for a while. Great stats, averaging nearly 47.
Well, talking about that short ball theory, it looks like England is setting up for line and length bowling. 3 slips and a gully, very conventional field. Mid off, mid on. Square legs just going back, so perhaps Ben Stokes just wants to have that at the back of Travis Head's mind, that there might be the odd short ball. But I think they're right. I mean, these are not the conditions to be banging in halfway down. Probe off stump, bring those slips into play.
Yeah, just the odd one every now and then to keep him honest, but it is moving around, as we just saw with that Labuschagne delivery. And Head scores quickly. His strike rate in the last couple of years is around about 80, so he's no slouch. Movement straight away, good length. These two know each other from their Sussex days a couple of years ago. And this was the beauty from Robinson. Just went up the slope enough to find the outside edge.
Stokes just brought a leg slip into play, which might have made some difference. I'd probably not. But those two deliveries, it doesn't matter what your field is, they're always going to be challenging for the batsman.
That short ball. It's good from Robinson, mixing it up.
Yeah, and England need to raise the intensity here. This is a crucial period of the game. It's fine when Australia are 2 down and they've got men who are both in, but where England are now, having elected to bowl first, they've got a new batsman at the crease. Make it hard for him, make it feel difficult, make it intimidating. Got to recognise these moments within Test matches.
That's the variation. Really good from Robinson. A wicket maiden. 198 for 3. What's often said about batting in England, you're not ever in completely, and that scorecard tells you that 3 batters have got in and got out, especially on this pitch. Kookaburra ball in Australia, 55 overs old, probably gun barrel straight or a bit of gentle reverse, and the spinner would have been on. In England, these conditions, Duke's ball, it's still doing a bit. That's the difference. Good bowling from Robinson. It was a bit fuller and a bit straighter, the ball that got Labuschagne. Labuschagne will be thinking, could I have left it like I did the previous delivery? Shorter and wider, bit fuller, bit straighter, threw him into the shot.
Jimmy Anderson just trying the in-swinger on that occasion. You can understand why that's a useful ball for him to bowl when he is bowling at the nursery end. Steve Smith getting a long way across his crease, leaving a lot of deliveries. This one sort of swinging it against the slope. It's different problems for the batsman.
Wicket maiden followed by a maiden. Better from England, 198 for 3.
.198 for 3 Australia. Nice run rate today. They're scoring at a good clip, although things have dried up in recent times. England are bowling much better since tea. Bit of movement in the air. And the runs had dried up prior to that shot. It's where Travis Head absolutely loves them. Short, wide. Boy from Adelaide, they don't miss out there too often.
Yeah, it's a nice ball to face at the start of your innings. Short, wide, everybody up on the offside. He's a very aggressive batter, as Travis Head. We've seen that now. We've seen the way that he plays. England knows the way that he plays, and it's actually quite a lovely position he comes into bat. 3 for 200 in the 57th over. Deep square leg back. Line leg back.
He flicks it away. Quite a unique style, actually, Travis Head. No great movement of the feet. Stays very side on to the ball. But he's made for this shot. He's generally back and across first. He loves scoring square of the wicket. He pulls a bit. He doesn't love the short ball by any means. And occasionally it looks awkward playing it because he's so side on. But if you get it wrong, he'll score quickly. He'll hit you for 4s, and he can take the game away from you very quickly.
Yep.
Smith will look for 2 here. He won't get it though.
And it's just something that England have to be very, very careful about the next hour of play, because I gave them a bit of a spray at tea break and just said that everything that they've done so far hasn't been good enough. It's just been too relaxed. It's just been too much. Oh, the toss we won, the atmospheric conditions have been fantastic, the wicket's green. We should roll Australia for 150, and it hasn't happened. They've waited for things to happen. Well, now's the moment in the game, 3 for 200, that England have got to really try and make something happen here. Robinson good just after the break. Picked up the wicket of Marnus. A short and wide ball to Head is not somewhere that Robinson needs to go. And it's up to Ben Stokes to rally his troops here and make sure that they turn up in this next hour.
Well, generally the bowling so far today from England has been good. As you say, that's where England have bowled, their seamers have bowled to Australia's top 4 throughout the series so far. So Edgbaston and again today. And that's where they've bowled to Travis Head so far in the series. So they're definitely targeting him on that short ball. As I said, he's an unusual player. Generally left-handers love to score on the leg side. They open up and pull well and work off their hip. Not so for Travis Head. Generally very strong through the offside. Oh, that's through it. It's missed everything. I don't know how. Inside edge, it's missed his pads, missed the stumps. Unfortunately for England, it didn't miss the stumps because it's a no ball.
Tenth no ball today for England. Striving for something extra. Ball in a decent area. Did enough, and it's still doing enough, and that's why I really think that England have to, in this next hour, try and control and get back into this game, because at the moment they're nowhere near this game.
And I showed you that pitch map a moment ago, that heat map of where England are bowling, but you don't want to get carried away bowling short to Travis Head. You see that previous ball when he played and missed, he doesn't move his feet a lot, so when the ball is moving, get it up there, get it in driving. Look at his foot movement here. It's almost non-existent. Look at the gap there between bat and pad. Get it up there while it's moving. Not there, not there. He loves them there, Travis Head. Hit them for 4 every day of the week. 209 for 3.
A change of angle doesn't matter. Around the wicket, over the wicket, if it's short and wide, we've seen that so many times. Travis Head is not going to miss out there.
Looking at Steve Smith out there, moves to 45 with that single. I was saying early on,
Beautiful,
I've seen him
mate,
do this a
beautiful.
lot. Comes out, plays almost like a one-day game for the first 20 balls. He was 24 off 15, and now he's 45 off 92 balls. He comes out, he quite fidgety, but you could see the energy was in the feet early on. He moved around a lot, he got himself going, played a pull shot, a couple of drives, and gets away. And then when he does, it's in a way, it's a similar theory to the whole Bazball theory that England are using. Get the field set back and then work the ball. Just work the gaps.
It's that maybe, Tubbs, but it's also maybe just for Steve Smith to get into his innings. I remember doing it on numerous occasions. What do they call it? The red ball run. I used to hit the ball to mid-on and just sprint and get off naught, but just get myself into the game. Get myself off naught, get myself to 10, and try and be really aggressive in a calculated way. And what it does is it just gets you seeing the ball earlier,
No run.
picking length, being comfortable with the short ball, also understanding some scoring areas. And then once you're in the game and you're starting to feel the way that the game is starting to be played, you can relax and you can just go into your bubble and you can start playing. And then all he needs to do is pick off the bad ball. And you can see his eyes there. He's way more comfortable now, Steve Smith. At the start of his innings, his head would have been moving more. We saw at the start, he was pushing through mid-on, flicking through mid-wicket. That right there is a very, very in-control Steve Smith. At the start of his innings, he wanted to get to the place where he is now. And to do that, he needed to be jittery. He needed to move around his crease, and he needed to be a little bit more positive. And that's why it's very ominous that you've got somebody in the fashion of Steve Smith now who's just so calm. That right there is a picture of calmness.
And what he does well in those early moments. Yes, he is. He's more jittery. He's looking to hit the ball more. He's looking to score more runs. It's well bowled, Jimmy Anderson, but he doesn't tend to go after the wide one. He's got an ability to, yes, to want to get bat on ball, but also pick up the length and line very quickly. So he doesn't flash at the wide one. If he gets an opportunity to play a pull shot or a drive, he'll do it, but only when the ball's at him, not the wide one. Flashes just short of Mahan Ahmed there, just behind point. Wasn't a catch, landed about a metre in front of him, and that's the hot spot. If someone like Travis Head loves playing through that point, backward point region. .211 for 3. It's a good combination this for Australia. Travis Head once he gets himself set, try and be a bit more of the aggressor here. Steve Smith very comfortable just to play at his own pace. So good run rate, 3.64 for Australia. Very good in the middle session. Really got away from England in that middle session. England much better since tea. Oh, when he gets away with one there. Travis Head tucked him up. Inside edge, like it went back over the top of leg stump. Fortunate too.
Yeah, well, deep square leg and fine leg are back, so they're in catching positions just for the top edge pull and for the short delivery that Ollie Robinson may bowl. We've seen now on 2 occasions Travis Head's not moving his feet, and he may be thinking about that short ball.
And that's what he does so well. He can be annoying to bowl to, I reckon, Travis Head, because you feel you're a chance there because there is no foot movement, but he's got a great eye and good hands, and he just flicks that through point for 4, and already he's raced onto a runner ball 16.
I mean, this is a beautiful shot. I mean, that looks very, very similar to the previous delivery, doesn't it? Where his feet are nowhere, the ball just goes a little bit further away from him and he crunches it through the offside. And it's something that England need to really just make sure doesn't get away for them. Because Travis Head, if he bats for an hour, bats for an hour and a half, sometimes he can get to 60, 70 real quick.
And I was just saying a minute ago, Steve Smith will love it. He can just sit back, play like Steve Smith, knock it around.
No run.
That's why I think you've got to be full to Travis Head. It doesn't come a long way forward. That front foot doesn't go very far at all. If I was playing against Travis Head, I'd be saying to my bowlers, if he cover drives us all day and he makes 100, I'll tip my cap and say, well played. But if he's hitting me through point or off the back foot through cover, then our length's too short.
And I don't think you're saying bowl him half volleys all day, because a player of international quality is going to put you away if you're going to bowl half volleys. You certainly have the bouncer in it.
Yep.
And now through the leg side, he's punched that again, a bit of bottom hand up the hill. Another boundary for Travis Head.
Runs are flowing here for Australia. If you're wearing one of those jerseys, you're going to be sitting pretty happy here at Lord's, or at on your couch at home. It's all happening all too easy for Australia. Backward point went out onto the backward point boundary, so there's a sweeper on the offside. The square leg is back. It's Jimmy Anderson. Difficult for Ben Stokes here because the runs are now coming both sides of the wicket with Travis Head. Setting a field for that's very difficult. Run rate of 3.77 here with Australia today.
There you go. Travis said no great surprise. The red ones are the boundaries. You bowl short wide outside off stump, you're going to go. The last one was the one on the pads, a little bit full, a little bit straight. Got to be around off stump and fullish to Travis Head. Right about there. Works pretty well. It works pretty well for most batsmen, to be honest. 2-2-1 for 3. Lovely view, Lord's Cricket Ground. Always an absolute pleasure to be at this ground, whether you're playing, watching in the stands, or up here in the commentary box. Wonderful place to play cricket. Crowd have come back in. The scoring rate's been good. Cricket's been good. Weather's improved throughout the day. Started very gloomily.
No.
There's Steve Smith at his best. Annoyed with himself. Missed an opportunity there.
Look at the Moan Alley, Woody, Beach, Dan Lawrence, all sitting on the bank, watching this afternoon's battle. Pretty comfortable there.
So good, Jim.
Also quite interesting to see the fields now and attacking England. The sweepers are back. I think Ben Stokes understands the importance of making sure the leakage of runs doesn't escalate at the rate that it's escalating at the moment. Rain Ahmed was deep square leg. You got Ben Duckett at deep backward point. He had a fine leg in position. He had 2 slips only to Steve Smith. So there's a lot happening for the England skipper. Third slip comes out now, so Harry Brook is going to backward point, so there's a ring on the offside. It's about holding. It's about just making sure that Head doesn't get away anymore. Tight lines. Just there. Stay there.
No.
Saying a moment ago, the weather's improving, although it's looking out on the ground. It's quite a few shadows cast by the lights here. The lights have been on all day. They were turned on very early in the day. Looking at all the fielders and Jimmy Anderson running in, they're still casting about 4 different shadows from the various lights around the ground. Travis Head launches into that, fine Stokes, but there's one there that he actually did move that front foot a little bit. He doesn't do it a lot, but as I was saying earlier, as a captain, I don't mind seeing that. I prefer to see him driving a ball like that and something short and wide. That's a good finish. 2-2-2 for 3.
Brilliant, Jimmy!
It's quite nice over there. London Eye. Robinson. Oh, hello. What's happened there? A few of the English players not happy about that. And if I was a fast bowler, I wouldn't be either. Running in, but someone's obviously moved behind the bowler's arm, and right at the very moment that Ollie Robinson was about to let the ball go. Good length. Actually, it always intrigues me that here at the ground at Lords, and I'm not sure if there's any other grounds in England left where there's members sitting right behind the bowler's arm. You can see there the sight screens, then you've got a fence, but you've got the members there. Players are generally quite pedantic when it comes to people anywhere near the sight screen, and yet somehow at Lords players don't seem to have a problem with it.
I think Trent Bridge is the first ground that springs to mind. Members sitting right behind the bowler's arm. Manchester, they turned the pitch around. They've had it turned around for a while, so I can't really remember if the members are sat the Oval. Oval for sure. Headingley, I don't think Headingley, no, there's side screens there and the teams are above the side screen, the home side screen.
No run.
I can recall New Zealand opening batsman John Wright, lovely man John Wright, but he could see people walking deep square leg while he was facing up. He was the most infuriating player to play against. He would turn around to Alan Border, who is got on very well with him. He'd say, "Oh, sorry, Alan, sorry, but I saw someone moving over deep mid-on or deep mid-off." He was terrible. Saurav Ganguly there, crowd that. Yeah, Saurav, yeah, he was one who picked up
Absolutely
movement around the bowler's arm. Well, that squared him up, Steve Smith, but he's got it away off a thick outside edge. They'll get 2. They may even think about 3, but they won't.
Remember having that ding-dong with Mitchell Johnson at the MCG Tubbs, where it was a very windy day and there was packets that were coming across. We kept stopping Mitchell halfway through his run up, and he just got cross and more cross. It was a funny period to play. Johnny Bairstow actually coming and said, "Can you please stop it?"
Yes, you've got to pick your moments sometimes, haven't you? And your bowlers with that sort of stuff. Like another no ball. That's number 11. I think I can remember Dean Jones asking Curtly Ambrose to take his white wristbands off in a one-day game. That went down well. We were 2 for 50 chasing 200, bowled out for 150, and Curtly got 6 for 43 or something like that, including my wicket. There's Mervyn Hughes and Jeff Marsh on the right of screen.
Yes.
Well, Smith eased that through cover. That will be 50 for Steve Smith. Might be 4. It's a Nicely controlled innings. Started off quickly, and now he's found his pace, and another 50 in Test match cricket.
Yeah, he's under a little bit of pressure, Steve Smith, coming into this because he missed out on such a flat wicket last week in Birmingham. But the great players, they turn up. And on a very difficult wicket this morning, it must be said, he's managed to get himself to 51 so far. Looks like he's really set here, Steve Smith. He's set for a big one. He's got a 200 here at Lord's. When he bats, he likes to bat long. But there's still enough in this wicket. We saw a delivery a couple of overs ago from Robertson.
Yep, come on.
Travis Head played and missed, just missed his off stump. So there's enough there. There's still enough for England to try and get a few Australian wickets as quickly as they can. 230 for 3.
Looking at that strike rate there. 51 off 102, striking at 50. He started off his first 24, came from 15 balls. So his last 27 have come from 87. Gets himself set and then just finds the pace that he wants to play the game at. At 32, Head and Smith. Added him fairly quickly. Change of bowling. Josh Chung back into the attack. He's looked the best, although I think at times Broad looked very dangerous. Broad doesn't have a wicket. He could easily have had Smith and Labuschagne. He's had them both out and given not out on review.
Yeah, I thought Tong has been very good today. Just the speeds that he bowled. And we hurried a few of the batters, a couple of the deliveries that cut David Warner in half and just before he knocked him over.
Oh, no.
First time I've seen him bowl live. Interesting action. Strong through the crease. Nippy. Hits the bat hard.
Well, he's had 15 months out of the game with right shoulder problems, nerve problems. He's done well to come back so quickly, really. Smith heaves him away. And Ahmed's out there on the boundary. He'll keep that to 1. Front on action. His arm actually goes past the perpendicular. Yep. Drag that one down. He has the ability to swing it away from the right-hander. This will be a good battle, this. Tongue picked up David Warner from around the wicket with a beauty that swung in and kept going on down the hill. He's got to get his length right, though, to Travis Head. He'll look to attack here. Straight away, first ball's not a bad one to Travis Head, but he punches it through cover point. Gee, he times them well through there.
It's as good a shot as you've seen all day. Looks to commit on the front foot and then sees the length is just a little bit shorter than full commitment on that front foot. And look at that. Shimmies onto the back foot and punches. Races up the hill. 26 he's got from 25 now, Head.
Now on the leg side, he flicks that away. Just a single. Not an easy man to bowl to, Travis Head. Unorthodox. Far from technically correct, but a brilliant eye, good hands, and just an aggressive mindset. See the ball, hit the ball.
So batting with the right hand, the bowler has to come around the wicket, over the wicket, around the wicket. Lines are different, lengths are different. And he gets those punches off the back foot, punches off the front foot.
Oh.
The scoreboard just keeps ticking along. Already a partnership of 38 here between these two. Wasn't that long ago that we saw the back of Marnus.
Now Smith drives, brilliantly fielded. That'll be Stokes for sure, yeah. An acknowledgement from Steve Smith. Damn you. But another 50 for Steve Smith. 38 of them in Test match cricket to go with his 3100s. Over 9,000 runs now for Smith. Second quickest man to that mark, 9,000 runs. Kumar Sangakkara, 172 innings. Steve Smith, 174 innings for that mark. He's looked good today, looked really good. Started briskly. Just in recent times, he's backed it off and looks in total control at the moment. Test match next week up in Leeds. He missed the Leeds test 4 years ago after that concussion blow. That famous test match where Ben Stokes got England over the line. Steve Smith had to sit and watch that on the sidelines. He'll be looking forward to that. I saw his father Peter here before the test match, so family's in town. So it'll be Stuart Broad take over from Ollie Robinson from the pavilion end of the ground. Round the wicket to Travis Head. It's too straight down the leg side. He's just flicked the pad and will race away for 4 leg byes. More runs for Australia.
Yeah, lots for Ben Stokes to think about right now. Feels the lines, the lengths.
That's the spot. That's the spot. Got to stay there though. You've got to back them up over and over again. It's the spot to Travis Head. Either man up in the scoreboard there's got it wrong, or we've got it wrong here. Well, as an Australian, we'll take the 241. Benedict shakes his head at me. It's not going to happen. Well, there's the edge. Once again, it finds a gap, and once again, it goes all the way to the rope.
Yeah, you said he's a dangerous player, Tubbs. Scores in unconventional areas with some of the shots that he does play. Here's another one through gully. Full from Broad, and it's actually the perfect bit of bowling. He brought about the edge, but because of the nature of what the score is, there's not enough catches. Third slip, fourth slip, there was a few overs ago, but now there's a cover, extra cover. 2 slips is a catching mid-wicket because of how freely Head has scored.
Come on, past the outside edge. Just watching that drive there from Travis Head. Ben Stokes in the background of one of those replays there. Just dropped the head for a moment as if to say, oh, I needed to have a go there. Where do I have him for this guy? He's so hard to get a man everywhere for Travis Head. Ben Stokes here, top left of your screen. There he is. Head goes down. Oh no, needed a man there.
Tubbs, I think if they're patient enough and the lines and lengths that Broad bowled in Birmingham and where he's bowling right now, you don't need a short mid-wicket. I think you can have that catching in the gully. It's a very defensive field having that mid-wicket in place. I think it's Harry Brooks standing there at short mid-wicket. And have him in the gully. There's still enough in it. We've seen the last nick went for 4. We also saw the play and miss. It's the half chance that England need to take.
Yep, couple.
That's wonderful timing up the hill. Oh, it's just about the shot of the day for mine. Oh, just a little bit straight. Way through mid-wicket it went. 248 for 3.
Australian run rate heading towards 4 and over. A lot of that because of the partnership now between Smith and Head. 50 from 54 deliveries.
Yep. Yes, Ray.
And a lot of that runner-ball partnership has been because of Travis Head getting in and maybe even England allowing him to get in, Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mel. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I mean, he's come out and scored the runs that the way that he wants to score them. And I think what we learned about England at Edgbaston was it looked like they weren't going to allow him to do that. The moment he came in, they set that short ball field. They went after him straight away. They've chosen not to go that way today. And you look up, and once again, he's 35 off 32.
And he goes after the pull shot again. Picks out Wokes, who's one of the 2 substitute fielders out there for England at the moment. As the 250 comes up for Australia, 3 wickets down. I'd like to get your thoughts on Travis Head, because I look at him since he's been back into the Australian side and had that consistent spot and been performing so well. And one thing I notice, he's got a smile on his face more times than there are at the moment. There's a freedom about his play, and I don't mean that it's reckless by any stretch, but it's almost like he's enjoying this opportunity, second chance. And now all of a sudden he's, in terms of the last 4 years, he's got one of the highest combined averages and strike rates in Test match cricket. You can see they're averaging 58 in this year alone.
Yeah, he's now playing in Test cricket the way that everyone's seen him play in first-class cricket and Sheffield Shield cricket right from the start. Any time he went back to Shield cricket, or even before he was picked for Australia, he played this way. And I think with him it was just an experience thing, working out at Test level if that style of play was actually going to work for him. It was going to work for him.
Change in approach here from Ben Stokes. He's pushed himself back 2/3 of the way to the boundary at backward square.
Yep.
And so Head just sits in behind it and nudges it to the offside. Sorry, onside for 1. That's what players are always told when they're picked for their national sides, isn't it? You've been picked because of your form in first-class cricket. Keep that style and approach going.
Yeah, you're always told that, but it's a harder thing to do. It's a very gutsy thing to do, to go out in your first few Test matches and continue to be that really naturally aggressive player. But what we've seen with Travis Head is the more that he's backed himself, the more confidence he's got, and obviously the more runs are coming with that.
252 for 3.
Yeah, in front. Wait,
Broad, 14 overs, none for 56 coming in from the pavilion end.
An unusual field here you see with Travis Head. Because he's so strong square of the wicket, have a look where the mid-off fielder is. They don't actually have a mid-off. They have almost an extra cover. So what they're saying to Travis Head is, we're happy for you to change your game and try and hit the ball straight down the ground.
It's that line that keeps England excited when Travis Head is on strike. Spoken about his minimal footwork, particularly covering the line. It's a leading edge and it goes straight to mid-off.
Let's have a look at Travis Head today. I talked about that field that they had, and this is the reason why. Strong through mid-wicket. We've seen him clip a couple through mid-wicket, but look where his offside boundaries are. All very square of the wicket, just in front of cover. Very little straight down the ground. So that's good planning from England. But I think that what that can sometimes do, because there's no mid-off, makes the bowlers bowl wider, because they know they haven't got protection straight. And that's playing right into Travis Head's hands. That's where he wants you to bowl.
We just talked about the difficulty of players to come in if they're batters and they're aggressive batters in first-class cricket, to be brave and play that game at the next level. It's the same thing for the bowlers, isn't it? To bowl into areas that you know if the batter gets it right, they're going to score runs off.
Yeah, there's always two ways to look at it, isn't it? When you're tactically trying to pull apart an opposition batsman, do you set fields and try and bowl to their weaknesses, or do you actually pack up their strengths and bowl to their strengths and maybe play on their ego a little bit? Keep lots of catches in on the offside square there, bowl there, and see if the batsman's willing to change the way that he plays. They have changed the field this over as well for Travis Head. The last over, Stuart Broad was operating with a mid-wicket and a deep square leg, and they had a vacant gully region. They've now gone with the 2 slips and about a 4th or a 5th slip. We saw one fly through there last over. There is some movement away from the left-hander's outside edge. Looks like Harry Brook that might be in that sort of gully region. Yeah, there he is, the man on screen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's through. It's beaten mid-on. Bit of space to work up the hill there.
Wait there,
For Travis Head.
Yeah, look, I am very surprised so far, to be honest, that they've allowed Travis Head to come out and play this way. I know these are swinging and seam-friendly conditions, but the fact that they haven't gone to that short ball plan yet is a real surprise. He's already 40, shared a 58-run partnership. He's got his runs the way that he wants to. I think early on, with someone like him, you've actually got to make him get his runs where he doesn't want to, where he's not comfortable. And I think they've just missed a trick here so far this afternoon.
As that one dies through to Bairstow. Finish off another Broad over. 256 for 3. Tony Bairstow's had to manage conditions here today. Ball moving more than it did at Edgbaston. I think is a little bit more bounce through at one end, getting the slips right. Bowling in his second test match, Josh Tong.
Oh, not now.
He's missed a few of those in the last half a dozen overs, actually, Steve Smith. Mark Taylor in the last stint talked about when he comes out the bat, a bit of a trait of his in his Test career is that he comes out and scores quite quickly in his first 20 or 25 balls, and then once he gets off to a bit of a start, then slows down, gets into his bubble, and then really tries to wear the bowlers down. There's been a lot of mistimed drives. That bottom hand grip that we all talk about all the time, you can see that's just coming in a little bit more than normal and closing the bat face down on impact.
No.
Little bit of acknowledgement. Yep, you like that one? Yeah, not too bad. Moving away, that was me. No, that was me. So what's he telling himself if he has missed out on those few, other than, I can't believe it?
Mel, I honestly don't know what he's saying to himself. No one knows.
Yep.
But I think what we saw there was a really good illustration of how sometimes he can struggle with that really strong bottom hand grip. It's very rare that you'd say that about Steve Smith, but if it is into his driving that bottom hand can get a little bit too strong. He plays the ball a fraction earlier than he'd want to, and then the bat face closes down. It's been that sort of wicket today. Well, he's actually not talking to himself there. He's just saying to Jimmy, well bowled, mate. That's a beauty. Not much I can do with that one.
Oh, and he tries to go up and over as it follows him.
And from memory, that's only the second short ball that Travis Head has faced in this whole inning so far, and the first one was the over before. And straight away, there's what you would call a discomfort for the batter. Not sure whether to play, whether to leave. That angle also, I think, annoys him a little bit when the ball keeps coming back at him. They've got a man now, backward square leg, about halfway to the fence, a regulation fine leg, and obviously their deep square has got to be in front.
That's the line, but that's racing away. Bit of work to be done. And it beats fine leg.
See, that's another area that I'm surprised. In Birmingham, they had a leg slip, or at least a leg gully. They got the ball up under that right armpit of the left-hander. They made things uncomfortable for him. And what we've seen through his career, he tends to follow the ball down the leg side with his hands like that. He doesn't need to play at that ball. He can swivel inside the line of that. England need to identify that, look at that, and have a catcher there for that exact delivery.
Oh, you.
He goes after that, and that's through to Bairstow as well. So finally, England going a little bit shorter to Head and causing a few issues. 261 for 3, 66 overs bowled. It's time for a drink. Ben Stokes won the toss, sent Australia in day one, the second test here at the Ashes. And it was Khawaja and Warner opening up. That was a tough chance to root at first slip. That was an easier one. So they were creating opportunities, England. But meanwhile, David Warner looking to go on the charge. That was a 6 to bring up his half-century, first of the tour. And that sent both teams to lunch early as Josh Tong gets his first wicket against Australia. And he thought, I enjoyed the first one so much, I'm going to double it up as he gets Warner. That brought Smith and Labuschagne together for an important partnership for Australia before Robinson made the breakthrough. Meanwhile, after a brisk start from Steve Smith, he settled on down and chalked up another half-century for the green and gold.
Yeah, Warner was very good, I thought, today. Really good, positive intent. Got the scoreboard ticking over for the Australians. Both got good deliveries, didn't they? From Tong, Warner and Khawaja. Both back down the slope. Labuschagne played well. Looked a bit more comfortable in this innings than he has. Scored very freely through the leg side, which we haven't seen World Test Championship or in the first game at Edgbaston.
Ricky, one thing I have noticed from the England side of things, we talk about discipline in cricket, whether it's white ball or red ball, is the amount of no balls that England have bowled. And the one that surprised me most is Stuart Broad. You go back through his career of bowling, he was often his whole foot behind the line. This series alone, they've been pushing it ball after ball.
Yeah, just getting that little bit older, maybe just driving for that little bit of extra pace. The interesting thing, and I brought this up with you on air with that, is what you see now, the guys that play a lot of T20 cricket, I think, tend to bowl less no balls in the test game as well because of the penalty that comes with it in the white ball game, the shortened version. You overstep, obviously it's a free hit. So the bowlers that play a lot of that have grooved themselves into a certain run-up pattern that makes sure that almost ensures that they keep their foot behind the line. You think about the guys in this particular game that have bowled the most no balls. It's the guys that don't play a lot of T20 cricket.
I would have thought bowling a no ball and then bowling Usman Khawaja in the first test might have been a little bit of a wake-up call, but look at the stats since May of last year, 2022. England are averaging about 9.5 no balls a test match. Comparative, Australia just a tick under 4.
That's a good sign. It's a good sign for Travis Head when he's hitting the ball firmly back down the ground. I mean, there are lots of good signs with him with his batting in the last 2 years, has to be said. You talked about his strike rate and his average being one of the best in world cricket, and it has been that. It's, you know, his strike rate is in the mid-80s in the last 2 years, which is quite remarkable. We also, Mel, talked about his freedom and how free in the mind he looks. He's never half-hearted at anything. He's coming out, he's seeing the ball, he's hitting the ball, keeping things really simple. And when you're in that frame of mind as a batsman, you just want to keep going with it all the time because it doesn't last forever. Only takes a couple of bad knocks in a row and some of those small doubts creep back into your mind, but he's riding a wave at the moment. I'll tell you what he does as well. When he comes in and bats like this, he makes life so much easier for the guy at the other end.
I think he makes it easier for the coaches too, because when you know you've got a player like this who can just shift the game so quickly, it allows both coach and captain to have a little bit more freedom of plans as well. You're not stuck to one style of playing. a little bit of bottom hand coming in to that drive to find the space for a couple of runs for Head. 264 for 3.
Let's have a look at the length the seamers have bowled to Travis Head today. Now that, if you asked him what he wanted, I'm pretty sure he'd say that. In fact, he might want more on that good length, that 8 to 6 metres and just outside off stump. He might want a few more there. But even looking back at that last over from Stuart Broad, a lot of very, very full balls. A couple punched back to him that was saved. The last one was off the inside edge a little bit through mid-on for a couple. You can see there even the worry about the short. You can see that he's got his chest guard on, hiding under that short sleeve vest.
That's a lovely shot. He's missed out on a few through the cover region, but gets into a perfect position straight down the ground.
Yeah, and the thing with a straight drive compared to a cover drive is you have to wait that little bit longer, and that's what he did there. Just waited that little bit longer till the ball was down underneath his eyes. That then allows the full face of the bat onto the ball. Regardless of that strong bottom hand, he still gets the full face on it, punches it hard back down the ground. A class shot from Smith.
I feel like Travis Head, are you chatting to Steve Smith a bit, just in terms of giving him feedback or?
Yep.
Easy single to mid on. Yeah, I think you would be. I think that's part of being in a team, part of partnership batting. Is actually being in that partnership with your mate, regardless of how good he is, you know, #1 player in the world, how well he's going on the day. The more that these guys play together, the more little idiosyncrasies they'll pick up about each other, and when they might be struggling, and the way that you can talk to them to help them through certain phases of the game. It was one of the great strengths of the teams that I played in with, particularly Langer, Hayden and myself. You know, we played maybe 100 test matches together or close, and we could almost read each other's minds. Pick up something in their backlift or pick up something where they might just be starting to premeditate. You could stop and get down there and tell them to reset, get back on again, worry about the next ball.
I think the short stuff is coming, and Travis Head is aware of that. No slips in play, stacked onside field, gets into position, and the 50 is up in just 48 deliveries.
That's a good shot too. In position nice and early. Almost premeditating that short ball coming with the field they had set. He's very happy to take on the short ball. When he's in and set, he's happy to take it on, and he scores freely from it. And that's why I went back earlier talking about this is the plan they should have started with.
Back to over the wicket.
One thing I like to see when he is playing the pull shot, how he swivels up on his toes and doesn't get flat-footed and just try and swat the ball from there. He actually went with that. The angle coming into him, he was able to get back in a good position early, up on his toes, and actually swivel with the shot.
Yep.
Just a little tug off the hip.
Bravo.
So we have a look at the strike rate versus the short balls.
Yeah, I think that's quite a telling stat right there. From 0 to 24 runs, 25 onwards, strikes at 50. But once he's in and set, have a look how it goes up there. Strike rate goes through the roof.
Oh, that is a peak.
.274 for 3. He is loving his time in the middle order for Australia of late, is Travis Head. He's had a brilliant cycle throughout the World Test Championship, culminating in a wonderful knock at the Oval a couple of weeks ago. It's a pretty handy way to bring up the 50 as well. It's an 102 strike rate for Travis Head. He's catching up to Steve Smith very quickly. It's just getting better. The pull shot to bring up the 50, followed by the glorious cover drive to say I can hit boundaries off both lengths.
Yeah, that's not overly full. That is not a half volley. That is someone that's very confident in his game, confident in his own skin. Limited footwork, you see it again. Straight down the wicket, trusts his eyes and trusts his hands. That's what he does. He releases his hands through the line. More often than not, finding the middle of the bat and finding the gap.
Wait there, no run.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think most Australians were probably saying 4 years ago it's his lack of footwork that's getting him into strife. Now, the same type of, I mean, it's a good stride forward. But he's in a completely different mindset here.
It's a short backlift, isn't it? But it's a long follow through. You see his hands follow up over his shoulder. That bat sort of folds across his back. That shorter backlift gives him really good control of the bat.
And again, that's hit the boot, I think, of Stuart Broad. Question is, does it save the boundary? No. Hit with too much force.
Well, they're going to have to find a way to stop this here, England, because this is slipping away really quickly. Its partnership's out to 84 off 87 balls, and Travis Head's done most of the damage. 59 off 53. We heard about this baseball philosophy, and they'll keep attacking, keep looking to take wickets. If they keep doing that, then this Travis Head in this sort of form, he's going to be 100 before you know it. It's the fourth time in this innings, short innings from Travis Head, that he's hit 2 boundaries in and over. And only 3 balls into this over as well, so there's every chance there could be more.
No run.
The brains trust just coming together. Just trying to figure out an approach here to try and counteract what Travis Head is providing here. Ben Stokes has been quite innovative in his captaincy with field placements, particularly at Edgbaston. He's been a little bit more traditional today. Flicked away nicely. There is protection. It's not too often teams will be saying they're happy to bowl to Steve Smith than whoever's at the other end. Brooke, Pope and Anderson are off the field at the moment. Wokes, Ahmed and Ronnie McKenna. Substitute fielder for England. Two boundaries and that brought over. Australia move along to 283 for 3.
Well, we've got 55 minutes play or thereabouts remaining today. 55 minutes in which England have to try and turn things around. What has not been a good day for them, threatening to unravel completely with this partnership of 85 from just 90 balls, and Travis Head better than a runner ball 60 alongside Steve Smith unbeaten on 62. Conditions have been right for England's bowlers today, but we've had a couple of drop catches in the first session, some lacklustre bowling, and some very good Australia batting. Owen, does that about sum it up?
Evening, Ath. Evening, everyone. Yeah, I think it does. In all Australia today, certainly we've become accustomed to the run rate that both sides score at, but not given the conditions here at Lord's. Ball has swung and seamed. The wicket has some live green grass on it. Conditions for the majority of the first two sessions were overcast, certainly all in England's favour. But Australia have been excellent, particularly Smith and Head, Labuschagne to a certain extent, and David Warner early on really set the tone. Clarity in what they were trying to achieve, very deliberate by Smith and Labuschagne, playing aggressively and taking full advantage of the platform laid early.
Yeah, it struck my mind that there are similarities to the final against India at the Oval. Difficult early conditions. Warner's innings may go a little bit under the radar, but shouldn't, because that opening partnership of 73 very important, and that's allowed somebody like Travis Head now to come in against an old ball, 60-70 over old ball, and really counter-attack, which he did against India. But he needed the platform set by others. Need it, but he took advantage, should I say, of the platform set by others. So very important innings by Warner today. Smith has held things together. People have played around him. And 284 for 3 is not what England were hoping for at the start of the day. How much should we be concerned by Anderson, who struggled to make inroads at Edgbaston, but didn't have the conditions there? He described them as kryptonite for him, but they're kind of perfect here, yet he hasn't looked threatening either.
No, he hasn't. 15 overs, on for 29. I'd normally expect.
Lovely drive, very different to Travis Head, who's got a short back lift and is a punchy kind of player. Smith really picking the bat up there and flowing through the ball. 288 for 3.
This is a wonderful shot again from Steve Smith. A little bit of width on offer, but again we see the full face of the bat. Access to the ball. Picking the gap. It really is excellent batting. Even he is happy with that shot, I think.
quite sunshine, quite hazy here at Lord's. It was very gloomy in the morning. Slightly truncated first session with a couple of interruptions. Conditions have improved a little throughout the day, but you'd have to say they've been pretty good for bowling throughout. Second new ball, 10 overs away. 50 minutes play remaining. Time for Joe Root. It's kind of what you'd expect, really, the run rate to gradually pick up throughout the day. But England would hope that it would be from a lower start.
Oh, Joey, nice!
England have 3 substitute fielders on at the moment, of which Rayan Ahmed is one. Ronnie McKenna is second of the subs. Chris Wokes is out there as well.
Yeah, you're okay.
Swept wide and over mid-on. Smith has looked in control all day today. From the moment he came to the crease, he actually started with a bit of a spurt immediately. He was 20 from 14, and then he's just eased into his game, really. He hasn't looked under threat at all.
No!
Oh!
293 for 3. So the field is spread again. England have belatedly gone to the short ball field and ploy against Travis Head. Almost a fly slip. 2 or 3 men back on the leg side for the hook. And Head is just pumping it down the ground instead. The field is set very square because short ball is coming, but it didn't get up, and that allowed him just to pummel that through mid-on for 4.
Again, it's really, really good batting from Australia. Knows exactly what's coming. Doesn't get his line right. Allows him to flat bat it with no mid-on.
Stepping away. Just getting into an almost baseball position then very early, because he can predict the length of the ball. 100 partnership, and it's coming very quick time. Just 104 balls. Head has contributed 67 of those, so Smith has just been able to go along in Travis Head's slipstream. That must be very close. He got so far across there. The line looked reasonably straight.
Okay, fine.
Well, the timer the clock has run down. England haven't reviewed. Maybe my eyes are going, but it looked very close to me.
Yeah, and to me too. I still have 2 reviews up his sleeve, Ben Stokes. It's nipped back in front of all 3. Perhaps height is in question. Oh, it's very close. Very close.
Right.
Drives firmly, and so firmly that it bursts through Ben Stokes' hands. Well, I want to have a look at this LBW again, because at real speed, I just thought England were bound to review this. He got so far across. He's right in front of all 3. Well, the umpire's call, of course, was not out, so it would have stayed not out. But at least my eyes aren't completely deceiving me. Pulls firmly over one of those men on the leg side. It's 4 more to Travis Head. Runs are just flowing here, and the game rapidly getting out of England's control.
Certainly is, and it's all Australia at the moment. Travis Head's strike rate continuing to improve. 71 from just 62 deliveries at the moment. Taking on the short ball. There are 3 men posted, 2 in the deep, 1 3/4.
.307 for 3. Well, it's brilliant batting from Travis Head, who was one batter that Ben Stokes highlighted ahead of the series. He was asked who do you worry about, who can really damage you, and that man Travis Head was the one that he talked about. A lot of focus obviously on Smith and Labuschagne, Warner, big name players and successful for a long time. The way that Travis Head played in the last Ashes series, I think that was in Ben Stokes' mind, because he had a brilliant series and very dangerous because he scores so quickly.
Yep. Okay.
Brilliant batting. Even with this second new ball approaching, he's not going to just let England ease their way towards it. This is the time to press the accelerator, put England under pressure, make Stokes bring another bowling change before that new ball becomes available.
It's his 14th boundary. He's made it look very, very easy, looking to take all momentum into that new ball when it will be taken.
Bowled, very good from Root. The thing about Root is that because he's such a good batter himself, he thinks like one, and he knew exactly what Travis Head was looking to do there.
Oh, wow. Good pace, Joey. Pace, Joe.
Right there, no run.
fourth ball as well, just held a bit off the surface. Just spun a little bit, which is not ideal from an England perspective.
Oh, no, run!
With an off spinner approaching 500 wickets in the opposition's team, 312 for 3. Smith 72 and at a decent strike rate of 55, but it's Travis Head striking at 110, 75 from 68 balls, and has put England under significant pressure in the final session of the day. The day was set up by Warner first of all, then Labuschagne in partnership with Smith, and now Head, given that freedom and license at number 5 on the back of good batting before him, really tearing into England's bowlers now.
Yes.
Robinson's gone for a slightly more orthodox field with a couple of slips, but also 2 men back, as if Ben Stokes is just hedging his bets and having a bob each way.
Yes!
Steered that through cover. Brook and Anderson giving chase. Fastest 100 by an Australian in England, I hear you ask. Victor Trumper, 1902. How many balls, Benedict? 95 balls.
No run.
Very good from Robinson. Just for a moment, Travis Head slightly misread the length of the ball. It was a bit fuller than he imagined. 3:15 for 3. So Stokes keeps mid-off and mid-on up. We've already seen Smith go over wide mid-on once.
Yep.
Said route that thinks like a batter. And he saw Travis Head coming, he floated it wider and slower, the ball spun, Johnny Bairstow did the rest.
He sent it up to me. So we're coming to TV on.